can only imagine when that day comes and I find myself standing in the sun. I can only imagine when all I would do is forever worship you. I can only imagine, yeah. I can only imagine.
I imagine a place where any day of the week I could invite a friend in for coffee and bring them into a place where they might be exposed to Christian magazines or Christian music in a way that it might touch them and bring them to Christ. And in that way, I could be fulfilling that second part of our mission statement, which is to bring others to Christ.
I can imagine that it would be great to be able to finally provide all of the classes and offerings that we've wanted to be able to provide this community and the membership of this congregation, but have been so restricted and compromised by the lack of space that we currently have.
Imagination is a wonderful gift, and it's a powerful tool. It is the gift of imagination that allows us to see things before they are and create things before they ever come to be. The story is told that Walt Disney died right before the opening of Disneyland. Someone during those opening celebrations said, "Isn't it too bad that Walt didn't live to see this?" The creative director turned and said, "He did see it. That's why it's here." We're inviting you, the members of Crossroads, to start imagining with us the possibilities of who God is calling us to be and what God is calling us to do, beginning right now as we move into the future. Come imagine with us.
Imagine a mission store instead of this table. Missions is our great thrust in this church, and what a wonderful way to have a mission project.
I can imagine health and healing activities taking place in our church building. Yoga, Tai Chi, or aerobics classes.
I imagine a space for our drama ministry here at Crossroads, where we can perform in the name of God and draw people in from the community to see those performances in a space that's a little more accommodating than the one we've been using.
When we replace the broken down garage, just imagine the possibilities if we could build a building big enough to have a shop in it, a place where we could do repair and improvement projects for around the church. Imagine further if the shop was big enough that it could be a classroom where we could teach home maintenance and repair classes for the people of the church and the community.
I imagine this place as a place we can come as a coffee house for the high schoolers to come during the week and de-stress and just talk about God and have discipleship and fellowship.
I imagine our fireside lounge as our new fireside reading room. Where we're presently limited in space, this newly expanded library would allow us to expand in areas such as online reference materials, DVDs, CDs.
Back in 1956, when Crossroads was founded, a small group of people imagined the possibility of having a vibrant, growing Presbyterian church in this sparsely populated part of Ozaukee County. They imagined a possibility that became a reality, and through the years, Crossroads has continued to grow into who we are today. In more recent years, we imagined the possibility of expanding our sanctuary to welcome still more people to worship with us. On Easter Sunday, 2000, we opened our doors, and come they did, and they continue still. Earlier this year, we had to add a third service of worship each week to accommodate the growing need. We dared then to imagine the possibilities, and they became reality. Now we're inviting you to imagine the possibilities once again. We are in desperate need of program space to meet the growing needs of this growing congregation.
I imagine that we have a child care room that can actually take care of our needs. I mean, if everyone showed up, if all the children showed up at the same time in the child care room, we'd have 100 kids in here.
This is the Crossroads Music Room. It's clearly not what I imagine for Crossroads. Currently, planning and rehearsing takes place at my house. It needs to take place here, and I can imagine that happening. I can imagine the music program growing as large as you would like it.
I imagine a youth ministry program here at Crossroads that reaches out to the almost 400 youth that we have in both middle school and high school. Many of those youth are not involved at Crossroads right now, and I imagine a program in a building that allows us to reach out to all of those youth.
With the current kitchen, we can comfortably serve 100 and 125 meals. But with the new Christian Life Center, there's going to be many, many more people. We have much bigger events. So I imagine a kitchen that can serve up to 200, 300 people at one time.
The cornerstone of this whole project is what we are calling a Christian Life Center. That is more than the name of a room in the building. That is our desire to be followers of Jesus Christ, to have Christ be the center of our lives.
In 1998, when we built the sanctuary or began the planning for the sanctuary, I think we couldn't possibly imagine all of the additional ministries that would develop out of that program. Now, as we began again within the last year to look at our facility needs, we tried ourselves as a committee to imagine all of the things that the church needed, and we asked the congregation to do likewise. As a result of that, we ended up with 7 priorities. Number 1, a Christian Life Center designed to accommodate 300 people for sit-down dinners and a new kitchen to support that. The Christian Life Center can also be used with auditorium-style seating for up to 400 people. Number 2, additional classroom space. The Christian Life Center can actually be divided into 8 separate classrooms, each accommodating 32. In addition to that, we get 4 classrooms out of Old Fellowship Hall. Number 3, a quiet room. Despite the great size of this facility, there is no place at Crossroads now that is devoted to quiet and prayer. The new quiet room will be used 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for that purpose. Number 4, an expanded child care area, reconfigured to handle infants separate from toddlers, separate from 2- and 3-year-olds. Number 5, music rehearsal space, dedicated specifically for that purpose and usable for both vocal and instrumental programs. Number 6, a coffee conversation area. The social center of the church now frequently is the office. The coffee conversation area, which will be part of the Christian Life Center, will move that social center into the Christian Life Center. And finally, number 7, a reconfigured and refurnished great room designed specifically for recreational, sports, drama, and other such activities. In total, we believe that these facilities provide not only for the programs which Crossroads has in place today, but also for those programs in the future that we can now only imagine. And finally, and most importantly, that they support our commitment to being Christians 365.
Well, how do we make these imagined possibilities a reality? In the same way the first members of Crossroads did 50 years ago and we did 3 years ago, through a faithful commitment and sacrificial giving. The total cost of this project is going to be approximately $4.5 million, and we hope to raise $3 million through the capital campaign.
Some may question whether this is the right time, or certainly the best time, to be doing this kind of a project given the economic season we are in. I think that's a fair question, and one that we have asked ourselves. But the answer is, we didn't really choose the time. It was given to us. Each year, we receive 150 or more new members to Crossroads. It is that growth in our church that has necessitated this expansion. The theme of this campaign is the Christian 365 commitment. Again, that is more than just a name. It is a statement of who we desire to be as followers of Jesus Christ, committed Christians 24/7, 365. This is our God-given endeavor and goal, that we would be Christ man, Christ woman, Christ child, not just on Sunday mornings, not just on Wednesday evenings, not just some of the time, but all of the time. Our desire and commitment is to be Christian 365. And this facility and the ministries and programs that will flow out of it will allow us to grow into that great calling. Paul writes in his letter to the Ephesians that God gave gifts of ministry to enable the saints to grow into maturity in Jesus Christ. Christian 365. We invite you now, as an act of faith and commitment, to imagine the possibilities of what you believe God is calling us to do and be as a ministry at Crossroads, and to prayerfully consider the commitment you are willing to make this possibility a reality.
I can only imagine what it will be like when I walk by your side. I can only imagine what my eyes will see When your face is before me, I can only imagine